When you dedicate nearly 4 decades to portraying a single character, fame is both a gift and a quiet confinement. Anthony Geary, the actor forever known as Luke Spencer on General Hospital, knows this intimately. Over 37 years, he transformed a character into a household name, a symbol of daytime drama, and a cultural touchstone. Luke and Laura's legendary wedding in 1981 captivated millions, inviting laughter, tears, and cheer, while Anthony himself quietly navigated the pressures of success that the cameras never captured. Behind the charm and intensity of Luke Spencer was a man who often felt tethered by his own fame. Anthony did not seek attention. In fact, he preferred to keep much of his life private. While his character opened doors, it also confined him to a persona the world expected, turning public admiration into a complex mix of blessing and challenge. Early life in Coville. Anthony Geary was born in 1947 in Coville, Utah, a small town where life moved slowly and quietly. The streets were lined with modest homes, open fields stretched endlessly, and the rhythm of daily life was simple but disciplined. Raised in a devout Mormon family, Anthony's upbringing emphasized humility, moral responsibility, and respect for others. Alcohol and casual indulgences were discouraged, while kindness, patience, and self-discipline were valued above all. These principles shaped Anthony into a reflective, observant child, curious about human nature and the subtle ways people interact. His father, Russell Dean Geary, built a construction business from scratch, modeling perseverance and commitment, while his mother, Dana, nurtured empathy, patience, and emotional awareness, skills that would later inform his acting. From a young age, Anthony approached the world differently. He didn't just watch movies, he analyzed them, taking meticulous notes about performances, characters, and emotional beats. He was drawn to complexity rather than simplicity, to flawed and conflicted characters over traditional heroes. Though no one in his family was an artist, Anthony felt a magnetic pull toward storytelling, recreating scenes alone in his room, experimenting with voices, gestures, and emotions, as if living these moments himself was the only way to understand life. Discovering a path, Anthony's talents became increasingly evident at North Summit High School. Academically, subjects like math and science posed challenges, but the stage became his sanctuary. Whenever the school mounted a production, it was assumed he would take the lead, not merely for his charm, but for the dedication, precision, and emotional depth he brought to every role. A defining moment arrived when he earned a drama scholarship to the University of Utah. This was more than an opportunity to study. It was a declaration of purpose. Leaving behind the familiar safety of small-town life, Anthony stepped into a world that demanded creativity, courage, and resilience. At university, he honed his craft, earning recognition for his ability to inhabit the full emotional spectrum of any character he portrayed. Stage beginnings. Anthony's professional journey began on stage, where immediacy, discipline, and authenticity are essential. There are no second takes, no edits, only the raw connection between performer and audience. Early on, Anthony distinguished himself with a meticulous approach to craft, earning the prestigious Presidential Award Scholarship for Drama at the University of Utah. His big break came when Oscar-winning actor Jack Albertson cast him as the son in a production of Subject Was Roses. After the final performance, Albertson invited him to tour professionally, a moment Anthony had been waiting for. Without hesitation, he accepted, leaving Utah to embrace the uncertainties and rewards of a life dedicated to acting. Los Angeles and television touring eventually brought Anthony to Los Angeles, a city of opportunity that could also be unforgiving. He began in live theater, performing in over 50 productions across community and professional stages, refining timing, presence, and emotional control. skills that would define his future on-screen work. Gradually, he transitioned to television, appearing in series such as Room 222, The Streets of San Francisco, and The $6 Million Man. Even in small roles, his performances were notable for authenticity and depth. In 1971, he played Roger on All in the Family, one of the earliest nuanced portrayals of a gay character on American television. Anthony treated Roger as a full human being, avoiding exaggeration, creating a character that felt honest and relatable. Around this time, he also joined Bright Promise, a daytime soap that would ultimately set the stage for the role that defined his career. Awards and recognition. Over the course of his career, Anthony Geary earned 8 Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actor, a record for the genre. By the time he departed General Hospital in 2015, he had appeared in over 1,200 episodes, leaving a legacy unmatched in daytime drama. Yet the role that brought him fame was also confining. Anthony often expressed that Luke Spencer consumed his public identity, making it difficult for audiences and industry professionals to see him apart from the character. Personal life and privacy. Despite public recognition, Anthony valued privacy above all else. While colleagues shared personal milestones with the media, Anthony kept his relationships, home, and daily routines largely private. Fans speculated about many aspects of his personal life, including his sexuality, but Anthony rarely commented. In 2025, the truth quietly emerged when Claudio Gama, Anthony's partner of 30 years, shared a social media post marking their 6th wedding anniversary. The glimpse it offered, a modest home in Amsterdam, quiet celebrations with friends, and a life centered on love, literature, and simple pleasures, reflected Anthony's lifelong preference for authenticity over spectacle. Relationships on set. Anthony's professionalism extended to his work relationships. His collaboration with Jeannie Francis, who played Laura, was primarily professional. While fans assumed a deep off-screen bond, their interactions were shaped by Anthony's reserve and commitment to craft. They navigated storylines and disagreements with quiet professionalism, and only after leaving the show did they cultivate a muted but genuine respect for one another as artists who had created something iconic together. Health and departure. In his later years on General Hospital, Anthony faced physical challenges, including a back injury that made standing for long periods difficult. Surgery and rehabilitation became part of his routine, and the demands of performing Luke Spencer grew taxing. He ultimately chose to leave the role, not from disinterest, but to preserve his own well-being. His departure allowed him to step away with dignity, maintaining the integrity of the character while reclaiming his own life. Life in Amsterdam. Today, Anthony lives in Amsterdam with Claudio, enjoying a serene and intellectually rich life. His days are no longer measured in scripts or cameras, but in quiet routines: reading, writing, cooking, and the companionship of his cat, Max. Away from Hollywood, he thrives in simplicity and authenticity, savoring freedom and the ability to define his own days without public scrutiny. This life represents the culmination of decades of choices prioritizing personal truth and well-being over fame. Legacy and influence. Anthony Geary's influence on television is profound. He redefined male characters in daytime drama, introducing complexity, emotional depth, and moral ambiguity previously reserved for film or primetime television. Luke Spencer became a model for anti-heroes across the entertainment landscape. Beyond awards and recognition, Anthony demonstrated that success is not merely visibility, but the courage to pursue meaningful work, maintain integrity, and honor one's own path. Reflection. Anthony Geary's story is one of dedication, resilience, and quiet triumph. For nearly half a century, he transformed Luke Spencer from a minor character into a figure of emotional complexity and humanity. Yet he never allowed fame to overshadow his needs or desires. By stepping away, embracing privacy, and cultivating a life of fulfillment, Anthony exemplifies a rare form of achievement: the ability to define one's own path, prioritize authenticity, and find peace after decades under intense public scrutiny. Conclusion. For fans of Luke and Laura, the memories remain vivid, but now there's a fuller understanding of the man behind the character. Anthony Geary's journey reminds us that behind every public persona lies a human story filled with triumphs, choices, and personal victories that may never be visible. His life encourages reflection on what truly matters: the courage to pursue passion, the integrity to live authentically, and the wisdom to know when to step away. In a world that often equates visibility with success, Anthony Geary's story is a testament to the highest form of accomplishment: living fully, quietly, and deliberately on one's own terms.